All right, hello everyone, and peace of Christ to all of you.
Halo semua.
Saya bukan mengatakan Bible Kristen fiksi, Bible Kristen itu palsu. Lapor.
Bible Kristen itu palsu.
Mereka yang tulis di situ, Pak. Makanya itu isinya bukan Alkitab, Pak. Itu buku panduan beli TV baru, mungkin itu dapatnya. Ya nggak apa-apa deh. Kalau ada yang komplain ke saya, silakan komplain ke saya.
Makanya itu isinya bukan Alkitab, Pak. Itu buku panduan beli TV baru, mungkin itu dapatnya. Ya nggak apa-apa deh. Kalau ada yang komplain ke saya, silakan komplain ke saya.
Artinya dari sisi teori logika, Paulus sudah keliru menafsirkan tentang ketuhanan Isa. Jika dasar kekuatan teologi dan filosofis Paulus hanya berdasarkan peristiwa kehadiran Isa secara ajaib atau spektakuler. Masih ada yang lebih ajaib daripada kehadiran Nabi Isa, yakni Nabi Adam tanpa ayah atau ibu. Ini Paulus lupa. Paulus lupa, maka orang Kristen pun turut menjadi pelupa. Paulus sinting, maka orang Kristen pun turut menjadi sinting.
Ini Paulus lupa. Paulus lupa, maka orang Kristen pun turut menjadi pelupa. Paulus sinting, maka orang Kristen pun turut menjadi sinting.
Hello everyone, and peace of Christ to all of you. Our topic is very simple. I will try to keep the video short as much as I can, because some people, they say maybe it's better if you make it shorter for us so we can follow. The Muslims always, they come to the Christians and they say to them that your Bible is corrupted. And many Christians immediately go into defense because, how you say the Bible is corrupt? I mean, I believe in that book. But there is something we all, as a Christians, we miss. Somebody is a Muslim, he is not an atheist, he is not a Hindu, not a Buddha. He have different background. So he is not actually accusing you, he is accusing himself. To make it simple for you, if we go to the yellow pages of Muhammad and we type the word Injil in the search engine, Injil, you will find the word appear many times in the Quran, claiming that Allah is the one who sent the Injil. Starting with the point of accusation that the Bible is corrupted, that is something against Islam, not against me. Because as long as the Muslims agree that this book is sent by Allah, the question is, how stupid Allah to the point anyone can corrupt his book? Because responsibility of the book preservation belong to God, for this is his book, not my book. You see, when I say the Injil is my book, this is not accurate, because this is the book of God. So the one who should preserve the book is the author of the book. So if the Muslims saying to us that the Bible is corrupted, they are shooting at their God, proving to us that Allah is a fufu fifi mimi. Anyone can spank him, change his book. So if you are speaking to a Muslim and he says to you the Bible is corrupt, say to him, okay, the Bible which Allah he sent is corrupt. In a second you will see he changes his mood, he will change the topic. Because it's stupid, it's funny, and it's an insult to his God, not to you. Secondly, the second question you should ask the Muslim, okay, Allah he sent the Injil, did he allow it to be corrupted or he himself corrupted? If he say he allowed it to be corrupt, that's mean Allah is shaitan. Because the purpose of this book to be sent is not to corrupt people, it's to help them. So if Allah allowed the book to be corrupted, that means Allah himself is using his book to corrupt society. By allowing someone to play with it, he is a partner of the crime. If I allow a man to rape a woman, I am no different from the rapist. Do you understand me? So if Allah allow anyone to corrupt his book, that's mean Allah is a partner in the corruption, and he is a corrupt God, and he is the devil. If the Muslims say he did not allow it, that's mean Allah will does not prevail. Allah is not God. Because Muslims, they say everything happened by the will of Allah. And the Quran have tons of verses saying clearly that even bad things, good things, doesn't matter what is, it happened only by the will of Allah. All those verses confirming to us that Allah is behind it. Chapter 64, verse number 11 says that no disaster, no bad things happen to you except by the will of Allah, i.e. the decision of Qadr, which means the divine determine. So Allah is the one who prepared. So before Allah, He sent the Injil, He prepared a plan to corrupt the Injil. How stupid that is. Are we listening? So listen to this. Before Allah, He sent the Isa, and before He gave him the book, He decided that He will send the Isa and He will corrupt his book. Who is the one who decided that? Allah. Do you see it? So when we say Islam officially is a stupid low IQ cult, we mean it. So it's very easy to defeat this stupid cult. It just use their own animation against them. Don't waste yours. You know, the Bible says clearly, you don't throw the jewels under the feet of those who don't respect it. And the purpose of this accusation is just to insult the Bible, because their prophet is not there, except he is the false prophet. Secondly, how in the word Allah He used the word Injil? You know, the Muslims, one of the funny things about Muhammadan, they are like people who repeat the same word, but they don't know what the word means. They keep saying to us that Jesus was sent to Israel. Jesus was sent to Israel. Well, Jesus was sent to Israel. Okay. We agree. Jesus came to His people, but He came for the whole world too. However, if He came to Israel, how His book in the Quran, His name is Injil? I mean, His people are Hebrew. They speak Hebrew. The name of the book is Greek. So imagine I am an Arab, and I am writing a book for the Arab, and my book in Japanese. Because the name of the book is telling you what is the language of the book. The language of the book is Greek. So did Allah send the Injil to the Greek or to the Hebrew? How stupid that is. Muhammad, the author of the Quran, he could not find another name. This is the only name he knew, that they call it Injil, the Greek name. So he decided to use the Injil. But that's mean that the book, all of it, is in a Greek. And that's mean Allah did not send His book to the Hebrew, because the book is in a Greek. The Quran says, listen carefully, the yellow pages of Muhammad says that Allah never sent the book except in the tongue of the people. Chapter 14, verse number 4. We have not sent the messenger except with the language of his people, in order to make it clear for them. Very simple, very clear. So the message have to be in the language of the people, to the people, who is the messenger from the people. So based in this verse, Jesus was a Greek person, and his language is a Greek, and he was sent to the Greek. Is the message clear, guys? Based on this, Allah, He called the book Injil. He called it what? Injil. Who is the one who called it Injil? Allah. This is not a translation. This is the original name in the Quran. It says here, نزل عليك الكتاب بالحق مصدقا لما بين يديه. And here we have other problem, confirming what is between his hands. How the book is corrupted, you idiot, and yet it says in the Quran, confirming what is between his hands. And look in the Muslim translation, they say, try to fabricate, they say, confirming what came before it. It doesn't say that in Arabic. It doesn't say that, CP. It says confirming what is between his hand. So every single verse in the Quran is stupid to the point will make you dizzy if you are a Muslim, will make you laugh if you are a Christian, will make you love cows if you are a Hindu. Because the cows have way more intellect and intelligence from the one who wrote the Quran. And look at the corruption, confirming what was revealed before it. Where it says that? Where it says that? You know what? I'm going to use a trick just to show you how we can get them busted. I'm going to open this page in Google browser, and I will translate the page in the front of your eyes, so you will see both sides, the original the Muslim translation and Google translation. Translate to English. Be my witness. Chapter number 3. The book brought to the truth to you. Believe what was in his hand. Do you see it? So the book is between their hands at that time. So how the book is corrupted? And this is in the time of Muhammad. Muhammad confirming what is between his hands. If we go to different verses in the Quran, we will see the Fufu Muhammad, he is even getting himself faster in the quicksand. Look at this disaster. I mean, how clear we can make it more than this? Muhammad came and he is confirming what they possess. Do you see it? Even this is the Muslim translation, which is obviously always is a lie. But even with their lies, we got them busted. Confirming that which they possess. Chapter 2, verse 101. Amazing. It's 101. And I want to say one more final point, because we said we will make the video shorter. If we go in the hadith, we will find Muhammad taking oath in the Torah, proving to us again that Muhammad is a fraud. This is Muhammad, and this is an accepted, correct hadith. A group of the Jews, they came to Muhammad asking him about the punishment for fornication. To make the story short, you can read the hadith on your own. It says, the Messenger of Allah, he sat on in a cushion, and he said to them, bring the Torah. And it was then brought. Then he would draw the cushion from beneath him, and he placed the Torah on it, saying, look at this, he's shown respect to the Torah. I believed in thee, and the one who sent revealed thee. Look at this. So how the Torah is corrupted and Muhammad taken oath in it? There's one of two options. Either Muhammad is the same as Obama, he take oath in anything in the front of him, even if it's a goat, for the sake of political gain, which means he's a fraud. Or Muhammad is a true prophet, and he believe in this book, and this book never been corrupted, because he says, I believe in you. So if the book is corrupt, and he swear by a book which is corrupt, obviously Muhammad is corrupt. If you give me a book like the Quran and says to me, take an oath in the Quran, I will refuse, because this is the book of the devil for me. If I accept to take an oath by that book, it's mean I am a devilish, the same as the book I believe in. So if this book is corrupt, obviously it's the book of the devil. It's not the book of God no more. For the devil played with it. So if Muhammad, he's taken oath by it, and not only that, saying, I believe in thee and the one who sent thee. And he placed his hand over the whole book, not only a verse. You see, he said, bring the Torah for me. The whole Torah. And remember, at that time, the Torah, it's not like pages like now. It's like a scroll. So it's like a roll. So they bring the roll for him. They put it in front of him. And Muhammad, he placed his hand and he says, I believe in thee. What more we want or we need to get Muhammad busted? So what we learn from this, the Muslim, they believe that Allah, he sent Injil. Injil is a Greek word. That means Jesus was a Greek, sent for the Greek, because the Quran confirmed that Allah never sent a messenger unless he speak the tongue of the people and he give them message in their language, as you see. Chapter 14, verse number 4. The Quran confirmed at the same time that no bad things happen except by predestiny of Allah, which means Allah, he made decision before he even sent the Isa to corrupt his book, if this is true, which means Allah is the devil himself. And this is a crime against himself, not against someone else. This is a crime against his book. And this book will deceive millions, billions actually. There's more than 3 billion Christians believe in Jesus as God. So based on this story, the one who allowed the book to be corrupted is Allah, and Allah is the reason for deceiving 3 billion human beings. I mean, the devil, he could not do that. Allah is more powerful than the devil. He is the master of the devil. He is the first devil. In the top of that, the Quran saying clearly in many verses that Allah, he confirmed, Muhammad, he confirmed what is the Christian they possess, but this is contradiction for all what Muslims claim. And Muhammad, he take an oath in it. All those things lead us to one conclusion, that the one who wrote the Quran is an idiot. He changed his words, depend in the situation. So when he is trying to get close to the Jews, he respect the Torah, he kills the Torah, he bow down to the Torah. When he do not need the Jews, he want to kill the Jews, he do not need them no more. So Muhammad is nothing but a fraud, and he changed his God and his religion based in the temperature of the atmosphere around him. This is one of the poo-poo of Muhammad. Oh, believer, in the law of equality and punishment. Okay, Muhammad now making a very serious law. This is about blood. This is execution. This is death. In the case of punishment, free for the free, slave for the slave, female for the female. This is justice of God. So if you kill my wife, I kill your wife. If you kill my slave, I kill your slave. If you are free and you kill a free, I kill the free. I mean, what this is? Muhammad, right away after he made this verse, people, they start laughing at him. The Jews, they start saying to him, this is not the law of eye for eye, you idiot. Eye for an eye is not like that. This is toes for an eye. How in the world this man, he thought that this is the law of Moses, which an eye for an eye? So right away Muhammad, he abrogated this verse because they start laughing at him. And this is a very serious law. I mean, this is about the punishment of crimes. How you change it overnight? But because Muhammad is a fraud, he is a dummy. Whatever he say, the Muslim, they say it is yummy. And when you are a dummy, you find it yummy, for you are dummy, and what we can say more. So if a fool like Muhammad can fool you, how fool are you? If a fool like Muhammad can fool you, how fool are you? With this, I finish my video for today. I hope we learn something good. So when the Muslims accuse you of the Bible corruption, don't defend the Bible, just laugh. Show them the verses, says, okay, you are saying to us that the Bible of Allah is corrupt. Ha 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 ha, stupid idiot. That's mean your God, Allah cannot be God. For your God, supposedly, he promised nobody can corrupt his book. And we can show tons of verses more. For your God, he said this and that, whatever you explain in the video. Don't defend, don't defend. We do not need to defend this. Those people are talking to themselves, insulting their God. They are not insulting you. They are insulting themselves. They are insulting the intelligence of a human being. For every details in the Quran is against what they say. Use their words against them. Don't use yours. And this is how we spank Muhammad every day. Hard. And then we don't even give him Vaseline to make it heal. So he can suffer, stay red for centuries.
Ketika Christian Prince menuduh penerjemahan Al-Quran menambahkan kata-kata dalam tanda kurung sebagai tindakan pemalsuan, sesungguhnya Christian Prince lah yang memalsukan dan melencengkan terjemahan Al-Quran gara-gara mengabaikan tanda kurung. Padahal kata-kata dalam tanda kurung ini diselipkan oleh penerjemah Al-Quran. Kata-kata dalam tanda kurung ini diselipkan oleh penerjemah Al-Quran sebagai benteng untuk melindungi dan menuntun siapa saja yang membacanya. Apakah Christian Prince mengerti ini? Dia tidak tahu. Tindakan Anda ini benar-benar menjijikkan dan memalukan. Saksikan betapa sintingnya orang ini.
Well, here we are. The word is the three letters that you see represented here. Ra, Zay, Kaf. These go together to make the noun rizq, which means a provision or a sustenance, and it has other forms that it takes, as the three-letter roots in Arabic, like other Semitic languages, can make verbs, nouns, and other words, depending on how they're combined, how the vowels are applied, and so forth. The root occurs 116 times in the Quran. And before I go into the manuscripts to show you the corrections, I want to give you a little bit of a background of the occurrences of this root in the Quran. So here are some examples. It does exist in the Quran almost entirely referring to provision coming from Allah. So here are some ways that it does so. In 30:40, it refers to Allah's provision for life. It refers in these several other verses to Allah's provision for the needs of all people by making the earth a couch, the sky a canopy, and bringing down rain to water fruit-bearing trees. It refers in a couple of verses to Allah providing for the needs of animals. It refers to Allah's provision in the future in the gardens of Eden, and that is plural in the Quran. It refers to Allah's provision for the people of Israel when Moses struck the rock in the desert, and of the manna and quails that Moses to Moses and the people of Israel in the desert, of Allah's provision of those things. And it refers to Allah's provision to Shu'aib, another Quranic prophet. It refers to Allah's provision to Mary when she was pregnant with Isa. Isa is the Islamic form of the Arabic word Yasu'a, referring to Jesus, and the Quran means to refer to Jesus when it says Isa, and in response to Isa's request for a table spread with food as a sign in another verse. It refers to the good things that Allah provides to His servants generally in several verses, particularly when they're weak and helpless, that they may give thanks to Him in verse 8:26, favoring some over others, giving generously to those whom He pleases, and sparingly to others. And you can see the other ways that it refers to things that Allah provides. And I can leave these. Of course, you can pause the video and look at these things. I don't think I need to read through every single one. But the main point is that it usually refers to, as you can see, things that Allah is providing. Provision for the wives of the Prophet who obey Him and do the righteous deed. Allah enlarges or restricts His provisions as He pleases in a number of verses. His command or authority over the way that He provides. Allah removes His provision from those who denied His blessings. His provision is better and more lasting than presumably those of anybody else. Of course, Allah is said to be the best provider, and the type of provision that Allah provides is of a nature that it would be impossible for anybody whom people would worship aside from Allah to give. There are a few instances of this root referring to provision from one person to another, and I'm just listing them here. And this is about it for the existence of that root in the Quran. All right, so I'm going to show you now instances of correction relating to this word, because I did find quite a number affecting this root in various places. It is a frequent word in the Quran, so maybe that is something that should be considered, like when I was talking about the word Allah, a frequently corrected word that is also frequently occurring. You should take that proportion into account. Nevertheless, I found this corrected in multiple instances. Okay, but the point to observe here is that I'm going to be showing you some instances of correction and describing them, but I want it to be clear that I'm not implying that this word is necessarily the focal point of the correction, or that it's anything more than a mistake in every single case. In some cases, I think it is, and so that's why I'm looking at them and talking about these things. But just want to clear that up so that it's evident that I'm not trying to do something that I'm not trying to do. All right, so the first instance here is in BNF Arab 341. This is in Paris, and this is a D-style script manuscript, so it's a later manuscript, probably 9th or 10th century. And there is something going on here with the kaf at the end of the word rizq. And you can see the corrected area here. I've put a little cutout of another place in the same manuscript so that you can see. When I looked at this both in photograph and I've looked at this manuscript, I believe twice in person, I just noticed that there is something, has been erased or something is going on here. But you can also tell by looking at other ways in which the letter is written in this manuscript. The D style comes at a time when the script was very regulated and very formal, and as you can see, the letter forms are quite consistent throughout. And so the tail of this kaf is different in this one. It doesn't have that real sharp, clear edge, particularly at the leading edge there where the two parts line up. So, all right, so there's a next instance here, and this is from the Topkapi Codex, and it's folio 3R. It's from Quran 2:25, Baqarah 25, where the word refers to a provision. The thing to notice here is that I think this probably is some sort of scribal error because the letter form, the kaf aleph, is repeated from the word rizkan and the word kalu. Both of those, rizkan ends with the kaf aleph and kalu begins with the kaf aleph. So there were supposed to be two, only one was written. Which one does it refer to? We don't really know, and I don't think this would make sense without that. All right, so the next one here is from Marcel 8. This is in St. Petersburg. I looked at this manuscript in person and then have a photograph here of it from the National Library for you. There's a large portion of corrected text here, but I have highlighted initially the word razaknakum, eat of the good things that we have provided you. So that we have provided you is the part that I'm referring to relating to risk. However, that's just the last little portion of the corrected part here, and so the corrected portion stretches across the line above and continues onto this line with this word being the last word corrected. So I don't know if this word has anything in particular to do with the reason for this correction. It may well not, but it is there. It is part of this correction. And the other interesting thing to notice that I'm just going to point out to you here is that this looks like it has been corrected twice. The final aleph of kulu, eat, you all eat, the plural of you should eat, eating from the goodness of that which we have provided for you. That final aleph there out in the margin appears to be written not by the person who originally corrected this manuscript. And I think you can probably see it by the form it has there. Right, so we're moving on now to our third example from this word, and this is from NLR Marcel 5. By the way, the one that I just showed you was an earlier manuscript, probably 8th century. This is Marcel 5. This is also a rather early manuscript, and this one is a correction of the word risk that I'm going to show you exactly what has gone on here. I don't think that the word risk itself, I believe clearly it did exist here in the manuscript as it was first written. What did not exist is the word prior to it, so I'm going to show you that here in a moment. So you can see that what was the original middle letter of this word has been left in place, and you can also actually see that right at the tip of the arrow there, that the dot above it appears to have been erased. And there's a new little z that has been introduced there and written by the new scribe. The word lakum, which was originally omitted at time of first writing here, has been added in after having erased the final noon, which was rewritten closer to the wow of the previous word. And so the net effect is that the word for you, lakum, has been added in there where it was not written at first. So the verse as it reads today, as it reads in the Haf's text, is there is no provision for you with those whom you serve apart from Allah. And as first written, this page would have said, there is no provision with those whom you serve apart from Allah. All right, so here's the next instance, and in this case, this is from MIA 2014-491, which is also located in the Museum of Islamic Art in Doha. My thanks to the museum for allowing me amazing access to photograph all these manuscripts back in 2015. In this portion of the page that I'm showing you, once again, I have placed in a box the word that contains the root that we're talking about. And in this case, it takes the form razaknahum, we provided them, or we provided to them. And as you can see, it's an overwriting of an erased portion. And it's part of an erased portion. So the next, almost the entire line here has been erased and overwritten. So you can see the entire correction here. And the portion that has been overwritten is wamima razaknahum yunfikun, and who spend from that which we provided for them or provided to them. So, and as you can also see, compared to the text above and below, this correction is stretched out a little bit, which tells me that this originally contained something else or some more text than is now written there. So we don't know. I don't know immediately from looking at this what that was, and I'd have to check my notes to see if I ever was able to discern that in the past, but that's the situation here, and this is, once again, is a correction that involves that root that we're talking about. Okay, here is the next one, and this is from the Sana Mushaf al-Sharif. This one, by the way, is located in Sana, but it's not the Sana palimpsest, so there has been some confusion in the comments on previous videos about people have thought that I was referencing the Sana palimpsest. There are many manuscripts in Sana, and this is not that one. It is, however, a fairly early Quran. And we'll talk about these codices further in other videos. I don't need to go too much detail about it right now, but there's quite a bit that is comment that has been made upon it. But the point here is that once again I'm showing you a place where there is a word involving the root, ra, ze, kaf, and in this case it is from 826. And you can see it here now. It's the last word, or what I'm not sure if that min that follows it is part of the correction or not from looking at it at this moment. But it is clearly the latter part of this correction, and you can see that the correction actually begins toward the end of the former line, and the overwriting is written in a smaller text. It's kind of bunched in, so in contrast to the one that I just showed you previously, this one has been bunched in, so what was first written here was shorter than what is now written here, which contains more text. So that is one. Now, whether the razakakum is one of the reasons, motivating factors for this correction, we don't know. But the interesting thing is that it's here, and then the next one is from the same codex. It is the word rizkin. In this case, that's the form that this root takes, and it's from 5157. I do not desire provision from them. Ma uridu minhum min rizkin. And so I think that what's going on in this second case is that the word min was originally left out because of the spacing. I think the second letter, the ze there, is original. And I think that what happened is the initial ra was erased and then written again over to the left a little bit in order to make room for the word min. So min rizkin instead of minhum rizkin, and whether that's viable or not is read in that particular in that exact way is not something that we need to deal with here. But I think the mechanics of it, it looks to me like that is what has happened in this case. So there we have in the same codex, you have two corrections involving this root. All right. So, and once again, it doesn't appear that the root itself did not exist at first writing, although in the first instance we're not sure, but in this instance it was clearly there at first writing. It was just a related or associated word that appears to have been omitted and then added in. Okay, so here's the next one. We're looking at BNF Arab 340, 14R. This is in Paris, and once again this is 30. This is Quran 30, verse 40, and the entire corrected portion is, well, I mean, the verse reads, Allah is He who created you, plural, and then gave you plural sustenance. Okay, that's razakakum, who gave you sustenance. Yeah, it's pretty clear that this is the latter part, the last part of this correction. It is an erasure overwritten. I think the first part of the corrected portion is the last letter of the previous line, and the part in the English text there that is in gold color is represents the part that has been that lies over the erasure. So again, is this root the cause or related to the reason for the correction? We don't know entirely what is going on here first glance, but it is part of it. All right, the next one here is from BNF Arab 330, again in Paris. And in this case, the corrected, or the word of interest to us lies in the very middle of the corrected portion. It's the word birizkin, some of. In this case, is translated in the translation that I have here as some of, but it means some of the portion of what has been provided, bring to you some from it. And other observations about this correction is that the corrected portion begins on the middle of the previous line and continues through about the place that I've marked out here. It's a little bit bunched. The top line above this extends a little bit into the right margin, and this line itself is a little bit bunched. So it contains probably something more than what was written there originally, but not too much more. It's not incredibly bunched compared to the rest of the text on the page. Okay, so here is the next one. This is BNF Arab 340, also in Paris. Again, I've highlighted the word related to these roots. In this case, it is the word rizkuha of Surah 11:6, whose sustenance, the sustenance of whom. The corrected portion here is marked out. Actually, it's only the first two letters of this word that have been corrected. What begins the next line down is part of the word, but it is not part of the correction. So once again, we've had a number of instances so far where the ra and the ze have been involved in the correction, and the latter part maybe has not. That is the case also here. Okay, and you can see how the page is a little bit worn through by the correction. Sometimes it happens with a very thin parchment. Sometimes it happens when you do have multiple instances of maybe it's corrected once and then erased again and corrected a second time. Those are the two circumstances that would lead generally to a wearing through the parchment like that. Okay, this is the last one I believe I'm going to show you here, and this is not an instance of that particular root, and this is what I want to end with. This is from MS 474-2003, our old friend that I've introduced to you in previous videos. And in this case, I am showing you a related, semantically related word, which in this particular translation is translated as a provision, but in this case it is the word mata'an. And so the verse in this case is the harvest of the sea, and the food from it is a provision for you and the travelers. So mata'an would be the word that is translated a provision. So at first writing, this was not only left out, but it had another bit of text here, which is not in the Haf's text today. And so that bit of text has not been erased, but the word mata'an has been written in, and that is where we're left. So that brings us to the end of the slides that I want to show you today. I do want to let you know that the bulk of what I've shown you today is from a paper that I presented at the International Quranic Studies Association in November of 2016. And I am posting this paper up. Please understand that it's not a completely revised paper for purposes of submission to a journal and so forth, so it isn't polished the way I would ordinarily do something like that to put it out in a full publication form. But I'm putting it up on academia.edu and placing a link to it attached to this video in the description box. So if you're interested in seeing the paper, downloading it, and or citing it in your own research, feel free to do so. And one other reason you might want to do that is that the examples that I've shown you are not all the examples that I include in that paper. So there are additional ones, one with a photo and several others without photos included in that paper. So more stuff for you. Before I conclude, I want to show you one additional thing, and that is to mention that Arthur Jeffrey, in his really important book, Foreign Vocabulary of the Quran from 1938, does mention, among many other words, that the word rizq is one of foreign origin. He says through Farsi, from Farsi through Aramaic, and you can see his description of it there. So is what Jeffrey notes here something that's relevant to what we're seeing in these manuscripts? I don't know, but I did just want to put this out there for your consideration, because I know a lot of really smart people are watching these videos, and feel free to leave comments and we'll go from there. Thanks so much. Bye. So thank you very much for joining today. Hope you appreciated our little discussion on the 4th of July. I hope you appreciate the fact that you have rights that are given by God. Also, I hope that you have appreciated my unpacking of some of the patterns manifested today in a frequently corrected word in early Quran manuscripts. Thanks so much. We'll talk to you again soon.
Nah, itulah ya. Jadi ini match nih. Oke? Iya, paham ya? Iya. Itulah pentingnya kita ini melakukan bedah kitab suci. Iya. Supaya apa? Supaya semakin tahu. Wawasan kita terbuka.
Beberapa hari ini kita dihebohkan dengan berita ditangkapnya Apolinaris Darmawan karena dituduh menghina Islam. Halaman Twitternya memang penuh kata-kata keras yang mempertanyakan dan mengkritisi klaim-klaim kebenaran Islam. Tapi apakah karena kata-katanya yang keras dan tidak menyenangkan bagi sebagian Muslim, lantas itu harus disebut penghinaan? Tunggu dulu. Tidak segampang itu. Bisa kacau negara ini kalau setiap pernyataan yang tidak menyenangkan bagi kelompok tertentu dianggap penghinaan dan harus dikriminalisasi. 2000 tahun yang lalu juga ada orang yang menyebut kelompok lain ular biludak, kuburan yang berlabur putih, keturunan iblis, dan kata-kata menyakitkan lainnya. Orang yang mengatakan kata-kata keras itu tidak lain dan tidak bukan adalah Yesus Kristus. Apakah perkataan Yesus merupakan penghinaan? Tentu tidak. Penghinaan adalah perbuatan atau perkataan yang merendahkan orang lain. Tapi apa yang dikatakan Yesus Kristus kepada orang-orang Farisi tidak dapat disebut merendahkan mereka karena kata-katanya memang benar dan sesuai dengan fakta. Demikian juga dengan kasus Apolinaris Darmawan. harus jelas apakah kata-kata keras yang diucapkannya itu sesuai dengan fakta atau tidak. Walau kata-katanya keras dan menyakitkan, kalau sesuai dengan fakta tentu tidak dapat dikatakan penghinaan. Sama seperti menyebut orang tak berambut dengan julukan si botak, bukanlah penghinaan, karena itu sesuai dengan fakta. Dalam kasus ini Muslim punya banyak kesempatan untuk membantah pernyataan-pernyataan Apolinaris Darmawan atau menuntut bukti dari semua pernyataannya. Kenapa itu tidak dilakukan? Mengkriminalisasi masalah ini hanya menunjukkan irasionalitas dan keterbelakangan Muslim yang memperkarakannya. Itu pasti akan tercatat sebagai tindakan reaktif yang mempermalukan kaum Muslim sendiri. Ironisnya, beberapa waktu yang lalu ada ustadz terkenal yang di depan publik mengatakan kalau disalib ada jin. Bukti-bukti videonya banyak beredar. Saya jamin ustadz tersebut tidak akan mampu membuktikan kata-katanya. Itu jelas penghinaan karena tidak sesuai fakta dan merendahkan. Walau itu dikatakannya dalam lingkungan tertutup, pernyataan itu tetap sebuah kebohongan dan fitnah. Mengapa kasus itu tidak tersentuh hukum meski sudah banyak yang menuntut? Apakah di negeri ini penghinaan hanya berlaku bagi pernyataan yang merugikan Islam, tapi tidak berlaku bagi pernyataan yang merugikan agama lain? Seperti inikah keadilan di Indonesia? Seharusnya Muslim malu. Selain itu ada hal yang lebih penting. Kemajuan teknologi internet membuat dunia masuk ke era keterbukaan informasi yang belum pernah ada sebelumnya. Berkat keterbukaan informasi ini, dengan mudah setiap orang memperoleh nyaris semua informasi yang dibutuhkan, sehingga apa yang tidak benar akan terbongkar dan apa yang benar akan bersinar. Keadaan ini membutuhkan tidak hanya adaptasi kebiasaan baru, tapi juga adaptasi budaya baru. Sudah bukan zamannya lagi kita percaya buta pada narasi kebenaran yang disuarakan oleh mereka yang mengaku ulama ataupun pemuka agama. Dengan keterbukaan informasi, semua narasi-narasi kebenaran dari berbagai agama dan kepercayaan harus bersedia diuji oleh keterbukaan informasi dan proses intelektual yang jujur. Karenanya, keberanian dan kebebasan untuk mempertanyakan setiap narasi kebenaran harus menjadi bagian dari budaya baru zaman ini. Kebenaran sejati yang lolos ujian akan bersinar, sedangkan klaim kebenaran palsu yang tidak lolos uji akan dicampakkan. Cepat atau lambat, suka atau tidak suka, proses seperti ini memang sedang terjadi dan harus dialami oleh semua agama. Contohnya, beberapa tahun lalu nyaris semua Muslim percaya bahwa di dunia ini hanya ada satu versi Quran yang terjaga utuh keasliannya sejak zaman Muhammad. Ini narasi tradisional yang mungkin sudah dipegang teguh selama berabad-abad lamanya. Tapi sekarang narasi itu tidak bisa dipertahankan lagi, karena berkat keterbukaan informasi, kini orang tahu adanya banyak versi Quran di dunia, adanya berbagai perubahan dan upaya penyeragaman Quran dalam sejarah Islam, dan lain-lain. Akibatnya, suka atau tidak suka, Muslim harus melepaskan narasi lama tentang keterjagaan Quran dan membangun kembali narasi yang lebih realistis. Hal seperti itu tidak hanya terjadi di Islam, tapi juga di semua agama lain. Keterbukaan informasi memang menuntut semua agama tanpa kecuali harus bersedia diuji validitas seluruh narasi kebenarannya. Dengan demikian, orang-orang seperti Apolinaris Darmawan yang dengan cuitan atau postingan-postingannya mengkritik dan mempertanyakan validitas kebenaran Islam atau agama-agama lain, pasti akan muncul sebagai bagian yang niscaya dari era keterbukaan informasi. Membungkam atau menangkapi orang-orang seperti Apolinaris Darmawan dengan berbagai alasan akan sia-sia dan memalukan. Mereka akan selalu muncul dan akan makin banyak karena keterbukaan informasi, akal sehat, dan kerinduan manusia untuk mencari kebenaran cenderung akan memunculkan orang-orang seperti itu. Mengkriminalisasi mereka sama dengan menahan gelombang tsunami dengan tumpukan karung pasir. Itu usaha yang sia-sia dan terlihat bodoh. Mari kita sikapi dengan bijak kehadiran orang-orang seperti itu sebagai bagian dari proses seleksi kebenaran yang tidak mungkin kita hindari. Mengkriminalisasi mereka bukan solusi. Mengubah sikap kita untuk beradaptasi dengan budaya baru adalah solusinya. Kecuali yang kita cari adalah pembenaran, bukan kebenaran.
Ambil keputusan untuk meninggalkan Islam sekarang sebelum terlambat. Kamu masih punya kesempatan selama kamu masih punya nafas. Dan kamu nggak tahu kapan nafas kamu selesai. Jika kamu meninggal dalam keadaan Islam, kamu sudah menerima ketetapan dari Allah bahwa kamu akan datang ke neraka. Jadi coba sekarang kamu pikir benar-benar, kenapa kamu beragama Islam? Semakin kamu berpikir, kamu semakin tidak punya alasan untuk beragama Islam. Coba sekarang kamu pikir benar-benar, apakah kamu masih mau beragama Islam? Semakin kamu berpikir, kamu semakin gak mau beragama Islam kan? Nah, kalau kamu sudah tidak mau beragama Islam, silakan tulis saya keluar dari Islam pada kolom komentar di bawah video ini. Setelah itu, silakan bergabung ke grup Telegram t.me/murtadin. Oke? Sekian video kali ini. Yesus Kristus penguasa kita memberkati.
Alhamdulillah. Takbir. Takbir. True story.
Thank you very much. Christ is Lord. Islam is false.